What if I told you that the entire modern manga industry can trace its roots back to one extraordinary 55-year-old artist who, in 1814, began publishing what he called his whimsical sketches? This is the story of Hokusai's manga and why it changed art forever. In the early 19th century, Japan was still a closed nation under the Tokugawa shogunate. Into this isolated world stepped Katsushika Hokusai, already famous for his landscape prints, but about to embark on his most ambitious project yet. At age 55, an age when most artists might be slowing down, Hokusai was just getting started. The first volume of his Hokusai Manga hit the streets of Edo in 1814, and nothing would ever be the same. The word manga here didn't mean comics as we know them today. It literally translates to whimsical sketches or rambling drawings. But Hokusai had something far more revolutionary in mind than mere doodles. He was creating the world's first comprehensive visual encyclopedia of human movement, emotion, and everyday life. What makes the Hokusai manga extraordinary isn't just its artistic brilliance, it's its sheer scope. We're talking about 15 volumes published over 64 years containing thousands upon thousands of individual drawings. Think about that timeline. The first volume appeared when Napoleon was exiled to Elba, and the final volume was published when America was recovering from its Civil War. This wasn't just a book series, it was a multi-generational cultural phenomenon. Each page burst with life. Sumo wrestlers caught mid-throw, their muscles straining with kinetic energy. Street vendors hawking their wares with animated gestures. Children at play, their joy captured in simple but perfect lines. Hokusai didn't just draw what he saw, he captured the essence of movement itself. Watch how a bird's wings bend in flight, how fabric wrinkles as a person walks, how water ripples when disturbed. Every detail reveals his obsessive dedication to understanding how life moves. But here's what's truly remarkable. These weren't meant to be fine art. They were instructional guides for other artists, craftsmen, and anyone who wanted to learn to draw. Hokusai was democratizing art education, making the secrets of visual storytelling available to ordinary people for the first time in history. Hokusai's technique was revolutionary for its time. Using woodblock printing in just 3 colors, black, gray, and a pale flesh tone, he created images that somehow felt more alive than paintings with full color palettes. His secret? An almost supernatural ability to capture the essence of his subjects with minimal lines. Look at his famous wrestlers. With just a few bold strokes, he conveys not just their physical presence, but their emotional state, their concentration, their power. His animals move with such authenticity that you can almost hear them breathing. His landscapes pulse with natural energy. This wasn't just artistic skill, it was a new visual language. Hokusai understood something that wouldn't be formally recognized until the birth of cinema, that the human eye craves the illusion of movement. His drawings don't just show static poses, they capture the split second before or after action, creating a sense of time and motion that was unprecedented in still art. This is why his work feels so modern, so immediate, even today. The Hokusai manga became an instant sensation in Japan. Unlike typical art books that appealed only to the elite, these volumes were beloved by everyone from professional artists to shopkeepers to children. They were reprinted again and again, passing from hand to hand, studio to studio, becoming the visual DNA of Japanese culture. But the influence didn't stop at Japan's borders. When Japan opened to the West in the 1850s, European artists encountered the Hokusai manga and were thunderstruck. Vincent van Gogh collected them obsessively. Toulouse-Lautrec incorporated Hokusai's composition techniques into his own work. The entire Impressionist movement was influenced by Hokusai's bold use of perspective and his ability to capture fleeting moments. This cross-cultural pollination birthed the Japonisme movement in Europe, fundamentally changing Western art. But perhaps more importantly, it planted the seeds that would eventually grow into modern comic art and, yes, today's manga industry. Today, when we see the dynamic action sequences in Attack on Titan, the expressive character work in Studio Ghibli films, or the kinetic energy of modern manga, we're seeing the direct descendants of Hokusai's innovations. The techniques he developed for showing movement, emotion, and character through simple lines became the foundation of visual storytelling that spans cultures and centuries. Museums worldwide now recognize the Hokusai manga as one of the most important artworks ever created. The Metropolitan Museum, the British Museum, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, they all house complete sets, studied by scholars and artists alike. Digital archives have made these treasures accessible to anyone with an internet connection, ensuring that Hokusai's lessons continue to inspire new generations of creators. But here's what Hokusai himself would probably find most satisfying. His whimsical sketches are still teaching people to see. Every time an artist learns to capture movement on paper, every time someone discovers the joy of drawing from observation, every time a manga artist brings a character to life on the page, they're participating in the tradition that Hokusai began over 200 years ago. Hokusai lived to be 88, constantly pushing the boundaries of his art until the very end. He famously said that everything he had drawn before the age of 70 was not worth bothering with, and that he hoped to live to 100 so he could become a true artist. The Hokusai Manga represents the bridge between his youthful ambition and his later mastery. 15 volumes of pure creative energy that continue to inspire and educate centuries later. In a world of digital art and AI-generated images, there's something profoundly moving about these hand-carved woodblock prints. They remind us that great art isn't about technology, it's about seeing clearly, understanding deeply, and sharing that vision with the world. That's the true legacy of the Hokusai manga, not just as historical artifacts, but as living documents of human creativity at its finest. Hokusai Manga by Katsushika Hokusai. Books to watch. Follow for more.